Hello, it's Friday. I might be doing a weekend reading vlog. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do it, but I kind of want to. At the very least, I wanted to show you what I'm picking up next and tell you, update you with how this reading project is going. So I finished The Lovely Bones. I also finished A Western World by Michael DeForge, which is a graphic novel, which was pretty easy and quick to get through. I didn't love it. It's like 2.5 stars. I rounded up to 3 because I'm a nice person. I got that from the library because I requested that they get it. I don't remember why, but I did. I have also finished A Sky Beyond the Storm, which is the final book in the, what is it called? An Ember in the Ashes series by Sabathir. It came out a couple years ago. I read that series earlier this summer, or started it earlier this summer, and I just finished it. I gave that book 4 stars. I didn't absolutely love it the way that I absolutely loved the first book and the third book, but it was still really good, a really strong conclusion, so I'm really glad that I read that as well. Time for tea. I feel like I've read something else because I finished 4 books. The Library Book by Susan Orlean is the one that I think I haven't mentioned. The Library Book by Susan Orlean is a nonfiction. I listened to the audiobook, gave it 3 stars, thought it was fine, but I did finish that. I wanted to come on here and do this vlog because I wanted to show you what I'm picking next, and I wanted to remind you to leave in the comments of this video now some prompts for what I should read after these books, because I am trying to read through as many of my own TBR as I can. It is now the 8th, and I finished 4 books. I'm also reading Scythe with my friend Amanda and Hugo, my friends, I guess, Amanda and Hugo. I will link their channels down below, but we finished our first section this week. We're reading that all month. So I'm also going to read Northanger Abbey later in the month, but I'm going to push that off until probably the end of October because I don't think we can do the live show until the beginning of November, but I will keep you posted on that in case you're a part of that. But yeah, the things that I am currently reading, I'm currently listening to The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. Rebecca Skloot, what a cute name. This is a nonfiction book about Henrietta Lacks, who is the woman whose cells were taken when she had cervical cancer before she died, and she got a sample taken of her cells that are now called immortal cells because they've just kept reproducing, and it's how we developed the polio vaccine, and it's also using her cells and learning how to grow cell culture has helped us with transplants of organs and different things like that. So they're really important to the scientific community. I first heard about her because I took property law, as every 1L law student has to, my first year. And my professor talked about when our bodies are no longer our property, because neither Henrietta Lacks nor any of her family members have ever received any money from her cells. So it's a very interesting conversation in property law. It's also an interesting discussion about when you are and are not allowed to take things without the consent of your patients. And apparently in 1951, the answer was you never had to have anybody's consent. Informed consent wasn't really a thing. So it's very interesting so far. A lot of the science, not a lot, some of the science is going over my head, probably closer to a lot than a little, but that's fine. I'm not a very sciencey person, but I am still really, really enjoying that book. The other things that I'm reading, Dune. I placed this on hold from my library in June, I think, and I just got it in October. So I'm reading it. I barely started this. I'm not going to pick it up all weekend because I would like to finish a few things, so I'm trying to read some quick things. The other thing that I got in from my library is The Tiger and the Acrobat, which is only 160 pages. So I might read this weekend because I think I can read it in one sitting. But this, I think, is from the point of view of a tiger who is really curious about humans. I don't know very much more about it. It's translated from Italian, and I want to read it, so I'm going to. So that's what I'm currently working on. Let me pull up the prompts that I've already been given by people, and then I will go through what I'm going to be reading for each of those prompts, and hopefully I can get through some books this weekend. Okay, so the first prompt I was given comes from Hugo at Scientist Reading World, and it says, read a book with 358 to 367 pages. And so for this, let me grab it. I'm going to be reading The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain, which is a historical fiction with a sci-fi twist because it has time travel in it. So this book has 367 pages. Can you see that? I don't know if that focused, but poor editing me. I'm kind of chaotic right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing this and I want to hear this.
So I'm gonna read that. I'm really excited about it. Clementine from Books with Clementine said I should read The Midnight Library, excuse me, by Matt Haig if I had not read it yet, but I had already read it by the time that she suggested that, unfortunately. And she also said I should try to finish the series if at all possible. for finishing a series, I have two options. One of which is to read The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. Now, I will not finish this in one weekend. This will probably take me the better part of a week to read. This is the last book in the Mistborn series, which I've been reading. I'm reading one a month, so I will read one this month anyways. The other thing I could do for that, which wouldn't technically be finishing a series, but it would be quick to get through, is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong, which is the first book in a series of standalones. I've already read the second book in the series, so I think this would be really good, and I know I like this. If you have not seen me haul this yet, the haul is either coming or it's already happened. I'm wearing the same makeup that I was wearing in that haul. And speaking of my makeup, this is perfect transition. I filmed a Bryce Quinlan from Crescent City Halloween costume tutorial. This is the makeup. I have a wig and ears and an outfit and everything for that. So if you've not yet seen that, make sure to watch it. That will definitely be up before this. So the other prompt that I was given is Amanda from her Pacific Northwest Washington life suggested that I read a book either by an author whose first name starts with the letter A or whose last name starts with the letter S, because I read The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold, or that was the first book that I read. So I have two options for this, and both of which I think would be pretty easy to get through. The first is The Quantity Theory of Insanity by Will Self, which is a collection of short stories. And the second is Good Me, Bad Me by Allie Land, which is a thriller. I don't know that much else about it. Both of those I think would be pretty quick to get through. They're both relatively short, and short stories are typically pretty quick for me to get through just because you can read one and then like do something else. And thrillers are also pretty quick to get through if they're good, especially because you just want to keep reading more. So those are my immediate reading plans, which I know seems like a lot.
Imagine how tired we are.
But I'm just kind of planning on like mood reading through this weekend and seeing what I want to pick up. And I will pick Dune back up on Monday because I do have to return that a week from Monday, I believe. So that's my plan. And I will catch up with you when I have picked a book and I'm like halfway through it. Hello, it's Saturday. It's almost 1 o'clock. And I'm about halfway through the Bride Test, or not the Bride Test, The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong, which is the first book in a series of standalones. Like I mentioned, this is the one I decided to read. I just hit myself in the face with it. I haven't read any today. I read half of it last night. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I don't think I like the couple as much as I liked Kai and Esme from the second book in the series, but I am really enjoying it. I think they have a really cute storyline. So like I mentioned, it's Michael, who is an escort, and he's hired by this woman, Stella, who is on the autism spectrum because she feels like she needs to be taught how to date, basically. So she hires him to teach her how to date, and then their love story sort of goes from there. It's very cute. I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping to finish this today here in the next like 2 hours, and then I will of course let you know what I pick up next. I did want to let you know that I am almost finished with The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which is the audiobook that I'm listening to right now, and I'm really liking that book as well. It's a lot of really interesting stuff that I didn't really know, and I really enjoy the like intersection that it covers between like race relations in the United States and the historic treatment of Black people in the medical system with like the legal system, and it talks a lot about like how informed consent in a medical environment has changed over the years, and how like the law has changed the interpretation of what it means to like get informed consent. So I thought that was really interesting. Or I do think that's really interesting. And of course, I really like the humanitarian aspect of like looking at Henrietta Lacks as a person rather than a clump of cells. So yes, I'm really enjoying that one as well. And then I did get Good Me, Bad Me by Allie Land as an audiobook as well. So I'm gonna listen to that probably when I finish The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which I will probably finish when I finish this. So for now, I'm gonna go read, and then I will update you when I have finished something. Okay, so it's a few hours later and I did finish The Kiss Quotient. I gave this one 5 stars, just like I gave The Bride Test. I love these books. I think they're really well done. I really like the ASC representation in these. And I appreciate the thought that goes into the third act breakup in all of these. I always think, like, the miscommunication usually really gets my nerves as, like, a plot device. But I think it works in these just because of the way that the characters are the whole time. This one was a little less, it was a little more annoying, I guess, to me, because certain things were just reiterated where I didn't feel like they necessarily would have been in real life, but also suspension of disbelief and all of that. But I did think this was really cute, and I'm really glad that I read this one. And I am currently listening to, on my headphones, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I have about an hour and some change left of the audiobook, so I'm probably going to listen to that for the rest of the afternoon, and then depending on what time it is, it'll probably be time for me to start dinner, so I'll probably start listening to my other audiobook of Good Me, Bad Me. That one is only 10 hours, so I should be able to listen to it in 5 hours, so I could theoretically listen to that whole thing tonight. I might see how the audiobook goes and listen to it while I make dinner, and then maybe if I don't want to listen to it, if I want to just read it physically, I can go ahead and do that, because the app that I have that one on also only goes up to 2 times speed, and my reading speed is a little faster than that on certain things. So that's my plan for the rest of the night, and then tomorrow I'll pick up something else probably. Oh, I wanted to update you that I actually started The Quantity Theory of Insanity by Will Self, which is a collection of short stories. And I've read one of the short stories. It's very weird. The short story that I read is about a man whose mother died, but he finds out that when you die, you just move to another part of the city. He lives in London, so his mom just is living in a different neighborhood. And that's like the whole premise. So I think they're all going to be kind of like creepy and weird like that, which is perfect for this time of year. And also, like, that tends to be my preference for short stories. So I'm very excited. I think it'll be at least a 3-star, maybe a 4-star. I didn't get the 5-star feels from the first one, but we'll just see as we keep going. But yeah, that's my update, and I will update you again when I finished The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I'm going to give it 5 stars. I'm pretty sure I can pretty much give you my review right now, just because it's so interesting and such an important topic that I really do wish more people knew about it and more people had heard of it. I actually had a friend reach out to me via Instagram DMs when I posted on my story my currently reading stack. And she told me that she had to read it for school because she was an engineering student, and I think she was chemical engineering, and so much of what they do also involves, like, the kind of things that you learn, or that we learned from studying Henrietta Lacks' cells. So that was really interesting. She said she really liked it, and that she hadn't heard of it before she was in college, and I hadn't heard of it before I was in law school, so I just think it's something that more people should know about, I guess. Hello, it's Sunday. I don't really remember where I was when I left off with you, but I did finish the audiobook I was listening to, and I got Good Me, Bad Me by Allie Land, so I started this, and I finished it. So I finished this morning. I slept in until like 11:30, but then I woke up and I read the last, and I had like 50 pages left. I don't know if I ever mentioned what this is about, because I don't think I knew. This is about a teenage girl whose mother is a serial killer, and so at the beginning of the book, her mother she's turned her mom in. And so her mom's been arrested, and she goes to live in a foster family, and she has some conflicts with the foster family's teenage daughter, Phoebe, and the book just sort of goes from there. And the Good Me, Bad Me is referring to her trying to deal with the fact that her mother has done all these horrible things, and wondering if maybe, oh, that lighting is better when I do that. That's interesting. Wondering if maybe she could have done something to stop her mother, or done more to, like, help the children that her mother has killed. The writing style in this was really weird, but I liked it. Like, there's a lot of run-on sentences that don't really have a proper structure. Let me see if I can find. Like, this sentence says, a lie, a little one, the color white. A lot of it is like that, which I definitely noticed, but it didn't really bother me. I ended up giving this 5 stars. I thought it was really, really intense and intriguing, and the atmosphere was really good. I don't think it's necessarily the type of thriller that has, like, a mystery element to it. Like, I'm pretty sure you know sort of what's going on the whole time you're reading it. It's just a lot of, like, being inside this character's head when these horrible things have happened to her, and she's participated in some of them, and it's just like this, basically like a psychological mindfuck kind of thing. But I really enjoyed reading that one. And then I'm also reading The Quantity Theory of Insanity still. I read one of the short stories. I think I already mentioned that. So I'm hoping to read 2 or 3 more, and then I'm going to start my next audiobook, which is going to be The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain, which is a historical fiction book about a woman who finds out, I think it's in the 60s, so I guess it's technically not historical fiction, but I consider that historical fiction. It's about a woman who finds out knows she's pregnant, but she finds out that her baby has a rare birth defect that in the 70s you can't fix, but in the early 2000s, there is technology that can fix it. And the only reason she knows that is because someone she knows, her like brother-in-law, is from the future, and so he time travels. I think the premise is going to be that he's trying to convince her to time travel with him to the future so that she can fix her child's heart. I don't really know what else is going to happen because I imagine there's going to be more conflict than that, but I'm very interested in the premise. I do like a time travel element in books. I like a book with a sci-fi twist, so I'm very excited to read that one. And of course, I will update you when I have either read more of the short stories from this or when I have finished or gotten halfway through The Dream Daughter to let you know how I'm feeling about it. Today's October 10th, so if I read 4 more, I should be ahead of schedule, which was my goal for the weekend. I wanted to read as many as possible to get like ahead of my schedule, but my boyfriend was supposed to go out of town this weekend, so I was supposed to just spend the whole weekend reading, but it turns out he did not go out of town, so we've just been hanging out a lot too, which has been fun. We started watching Squid Game. We have like cooked together and stuff, so it's been nice to hang out with him, but I did not get as much reading done as I was hoping to, but I am still like very pleased with my progress. So I'm gonna keep reading and I will let you know when I have another update.
If you set yourself on fire, I never let you burn. I would smoke you till my lungs hurt and lie you till I'm dirt. Oh, I'm not sure where.
Hello, it's Tuesday and it's officially time for me to wrap up this reading vlog. I didn't do it yesterday because I forgot about it, frankly, and today I have to edit it so that I can go up for you on Thursday, which hopefully you're watching this on a Thursday.
I know a lot of things, but I don't know about that. I'm not sure why.
I did want to update you that I finished The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain, and I gave that one 5 stars as well. I really, really loved it. It had a lot of twists that I wasn't expecting. I think if you've watched my book haul where I got this book, I mentioned that I thought it was a thriller. It's not a thriller, it's historical fiction, but it does have some compelling twists and turns and like, not really mystery aspects, but it definitely has that like, that feeling that you get when you're wanting to know what's going to happen because you don't know like what's going on really, and how a problem is going to be fixed. So I did think it was very readable in that way. I think I'm going to give this one to my mom or bring it to her because I think she would really like it because it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend that to fans of like emotional literature. Obviously, I know some people really don't like reading about pregnant people or like mother-daughter, like mother-child ties. So if that's you, perhaps this isn't the one for you, but it definitely had a couple of twists and it ended up wrapping up in a way that like wasn't what I expected, but it worked out, if that makes sense. And I really loved it all the way through the epilogue. I thought it was great. So I did finish that. I am still working on Quantity Theory of Insanity by Will Self. I've read another story in here. None of them are really gripping me that much. So I'm gonna continue to read them one story at a time and just keep going with that. I'm also still reading The Tiger and the Acrobat. I did not get to start this really, but I am enjoying what I've read of this so far. The way I've really been pushing through books is through audiobook. That's how I finished The Dream Daughter, and I also read another audiobook that I'm just going to talk about here because I have read it technically in the time span of this vlog, even though I didn't start it until yesterday morning, but I just finished it, and it's The Mars Room by Rachel Kushner, which I ended up giving 3 stars. It's about a woman named Romy Hall who is in a federal penitentiary in California, serving two consecutive life sentences, and throughout this book you get perspectives from different people in the prison. So you get like a woman who's on death row, you also get the perspective of a cop, a dirty cop that's in a men's prison, the teacher at this prison who teaches like GED coursework, and there's somebody else. It doesn't matter. I found this to be really disjointed. It was longlisted or shortlisted for the Booker, one of the two. But Rachel Kushner is also a really well-known author. She's a couple of other like bestsellers, so people really like her work. I didn't particularly love this story. My biggest problem was that the plot was so disjointed. Not all of the perspectives told a story that was relevant to the central plot, which I found to be kind of like confusing and just not necessary, I guess. I wanted to know more about her and like her life even in prison or before prison, and I really liked the parts that talked about like her life as a child, and like it was all very gritty and very depressing because she just went through a lot of shit and she was a sex worker and all this different stuff. So I thought all of that was interesting enough. I just wanted to be like compelled by the characters. I feel like in a story like this, I look for a character that I can lean on and become attached to, and I didn't feel attached to any of the characters at any point, except for the main character's young son, who isn't even a character. He's like mentioned a few times. And I don't know. That was the only like draw for me. I guess I'm glad I finished it, but I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're wanting to read a bunch of things that have been shortlisted for the Booker or longlisted. I can't remember which one. I did think the character work was well done here. The characters don't really go through a growth, but you do get to know them like they're real people. But like I said, I just didn't feel attached to any of them. And I'm not the kind of person who needs characters to be likable, because none of the characters are likable. They're like all in prison. They've all done horrible things. But I wanted some sort of like humanizing aspect to them. And the author, I feel like, came close with the main character, but ultimately just didn't hit the mark for me. So that was a little bit unfortunate. But yes, I'm going to continue these two, and that's going to be the end of this vlog. It's October 12th today, so theoretically, I should have read 11 books and be on track to finishing a 12th. That has not happened. I can let you know that for sure. But I did not fall as far behind as I did the last time I made this challenge, because I did a whole weekend of reading.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So I've read 9 books, and I'm in the middle of 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So theoretically, I'm kind of on schedule if I can finish all 4 of those books, and also other books in between. So the next thing I'm going to do is pick out another audiobook, but don't forget to leave me a comment down below recommending things that I read that you know I own, or just telling me like prompts. So if you have any other prompts, let me know. Yes, let me know if you have any more prompts like that, as I would love to have more things to read or more inspiration to read from my shelves, and I will keep you updated on how this project is going. So far, like I said, I'm technically 3 books behind, but I'm feeling pretty good about that. So yeah, I'm gonna figure out another audiobook to download now, and I will catch up with you at some point in the future. But if you enjoyed seeing this video and you would like to see more videos from me, I do post 2 videos every single week, so subscribe if you are not subscribed already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!